Did he win, by the way?
He won.
They chose the knucklehead, so we're gonna pay for it.
What happens if he opens up the government-run grocery stores?
I'm not with it.
Oh, you don't like the government-run grocery stores?
No.
$30 minimum wage. Can you explain how that might affect businesses?
We're going to hell. It's be over.
How are they going to make payroll? It's just about all the policy that he tried to do, increasing the workers and the taxes. It's not good.
The minimum wage doesn't help the worker. It just helps the system. Pay more money, more taxes, prices go up.
Overnight, half of them will go out of business.
Well, I'm in a blue state, I'm sorry, but I've been red my whole life. Democrats have always ruined, steal, rob, and lie.
Any thoughts on having him for 4 years?
What I can do is just swallow and try to face it, but it's not easy.
We're cooked. We're on the way to becoming a communist state.
The city's in trouble. They're in trouble.
Good luck.
Hey, welcome back to Greatest Media. Really thanks for rolling up. Really appreciate you being here. Please let us know you're here in the comments. So we got to cover the mass exodus that looks like it's beginning already in New York. It hasn't even been barely 48 hours. And already Zohran Mamdani has flipped on his voters. He has flipped on all of his policy promises. And now we see the fallout as small business owners, big business owners, mega corporations have already said, this is bad. We are probably leaving. Some of them have already announced they're gone. They're out of here. And the reason, all you have to do, look no farther than Mamdani himself and Mamdani's supporters and what they're claiming now. It's absolutely nuts. But I really appreciate everybody rolling up. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you. Please smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications for me. So let's dive right in. We got some great clips. We're going to start off with an AOC supporter who has some warnings for all these Mamdani supporters. And those who voted for him didn't heed them. Maybe they'll heed them now. But this looks like it's going to go south. But check this out. Again, really appreciate everybody rolling up. Please smash that like button. Here we go.
So New York City just nominated this guy, Zohran Mamdani, who is a socialist, to represent them for the mayor's election. And if I was 25, I would be obsessed with Zohran. When I was 25, I was actually 26, 27, I helped get AOC elected. I made a video for her campaign that went super viral. I met her a ton of times, and I was a huge AOC person. Now I'm 35, and like every stereotypical person, I've grown up and I've learned that these feel-good politics of promising free food, free college, free apartments, like you get free, you get free, you get free. It feels so good. You feel as a young person when your frontal lobe is not fully developed and you're thinking more in black and white that this is going to be good, right? You're indoctrinated as a young person in America to believe that capitalism is bad and all your problems are because of these evil business owners. But I have to warn young people who are caught up in the Mamdani vibe is that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and we've seen time and time again in countries and cities that adopt these socialist programs is that the rich people who are going to pay for them are going to leave because of a high taxes, and then we just get more taxes and less for it. And one example.
Even worse, the road to hell is not just paved with good intentions, as the saying goes. In Mamdani's case, in the socialist case, the road to hell is paved with flowery lies. Flowery promises that they have no intention of ever making good on. And we're going to prove that to you because we're going to show you Mamdani in his own words. But first, just to back up what this young woman is saying, here we've got another New Yorker who has decided that this is probably not such a good idea. And she is actually feeling this could be really bad. Now, I don't think she voted for Mamdani, but check this out because I thought she put it eloquently. Here we go.
If Mamdani wins in New York, just think how beautiful New York will be. It will be so beautiful as the prison gates open and all the nice young men emerge. And we can all sing and hold hands and rock back and forth in the subway station. Maybe like we look over and there's like a slip and slide happening. Maybe like there's someone handing out donuts for like a fine dining experience. The police, of course, will be defunded. So like, I don't know, you could just like, I don't know, like jump on the chairs, like play different like games, run through the streets. Maybe costumes. That sounds fun and entertaining. Like picture like New York, like completely police defunded, like all the prison gates open, all the nice young men running through the street, leaping through the air. You could wear costumes, you could jump up and down. That's sort of happening there like a lot now, but like it'll be even better. It'll be even better. And when you vote him in, and New York goes down even more than it is already. I don't know how that's possible. I mean, all
It'll get even better. And to the proof of that, let's check out Mamdani's supporters in their celebrations on election night. Because yeah, she's absolutely right. New York will go down even further than it already is. And here's one of the reasons how, one of the ways how. Check this out.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zohran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York starts today, baby.
God, there's
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a great idea. As the first woman said, hey, maybe while the police are all defunded and all the criminals are roaming the street, we could all dress up in costumes. Yes, under Sharia law, as a woman, you get to wear, well, not lots of costumes. You get to wear one. Basically, cover every part of your body, wear a burqa, look like a mummy, and roam around the street. That's a great idea. Oh, and wait a minute. Your testimony doesn't count that much as a man. And, if we go full Sharia law, you can be beaten by your husband with impunity. And if your kids ever walk away from Islam, well, then you get to actually kill them. Yes, this is a great idea. So this is what New York is facing. It's facing this on the cultural front. And on the economic front, we saw what the small businesses are facing. But realize that none of this, all of the free stuff, socialist lib promises that Mamdani made, none of them were ever real. No. Check this out from Mamdani himself. His first real address, other than his vitriolic, polarizing victory speech. But check this out the day after Mamdani's victory. You're going to love this.
Good morning, New York City. Thank you. Last night we made history, and today we begin the work of making a new administration. Welcome to the transition. This is the period over the next few months where we build a city hall that delivers on the promises of our campaign, to make New York City affordable and to make government accountable to the people it serves. As we prepare to govern, we'll start announcing the leaders who will help implement our agenda. People like deputy mayors who oversee entire areas of government and the commissioners who carry out the critical work of city agencies. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and a hunger to solve old problems with new solutions. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight to improve our city, government veterans with proven track records, policy experts from around the country and the world, and working people who know better than anyone what our neighborhoods deserve. And this will be a period, like the campaign we ran and the city hall to come, defined by transparency. Because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and
And there it is. Remember when I told you could stop sending us money because everything's going to be free. The buses are going to be free. Healthcare is going to be free. And we're going to have state-run grocery stores where everything's free. Everything's beautiful. So you don't have to send me money because you know what? The rich are going to pay for it. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, now that I'm mayor, why don't you send me some money? True to form to a typical communist socialist, 100%. Give me your money so that I can, quote, fight for you while I get rich. This has been Zohran Mamdani's life. He grew up in opulence to communist socialist parents. He's never had a job in his life. He has grifted off the system, and now he is in as the mayor of New York City, maybe not the ultimate grift, but certainly up there within the top 50. And now the grift begins. So now he wants your money. Next will be insider trading and all sorts of things. And realize that, he wants this uber qualified transition team when in reality, really what he wants is woke nonsense. Here we go. Here's his transition team for you. Check this out.
I think what we saw through the campaign was an operation that showed extraordinary discipline, rigor, talent, and I know
Mamdani's transition team is all women, 100%. Yes. Somehow, when looking for the most qualified candidates for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, we somehow managed to land on all females. I guess there were no qualified men in New York. And evidently some of them spoke native languages while addressing the crowd. I think New York is in serious trouble. And so does Barry Sternlicht, the CEO, I believe, of Starwood Capital. Check this out because the mass exodus is beginning. People have woken up realizing that There is a jihadist Islamist communist now running New York. He is implementing this gross partnership of the Sharia wannabes, as we saw in that one video, with the ultra woke left. This is the most bastardized alliance partnership in the world. They cannot coexist. Islamists, Islam, and woke cannot coexist. Yet, the left loves to use it in order to destroy America. It's the temporary partnership that has two things as its target: America, Western values, and Christianity. If they can, they'll be more than happy to team up to destroy those things. But then once those things are destroyed, guess what goes next? Woke goes out the window because the LGBTQ crowd starts getting thrown off the top of buildings. Just check out Iran and Palestine and Gaza and other lovely places to live. So check out Barry Sternlicht from Starwood Capital as he talks about New York now that Mamdani has been elected. He was on CNBC talking about this very fact.
So maybe he'll learn from history. Maybe the million people that voted him won't realize that socialism's never worked anywhere on the planet Earth ever. And especially what we'll watch is safety and security. That's the number one thing. If people feel like their kids aren't safe on the streets, they will pull them out of school and they will leave. And if he defunds the police or he doesn't give them the honor and prestige they deserve, I think the city's in for a really tough time. We have a big office here ourselves, and I mean, we'll see how this works, but the team in New York is for the first time saying maybe we should leave.
Wow, maybe we should leave. He's right. I don't think these people are going to wake up and realize that socialism has never worked anywhere that it has been tried, ever. Every single time it's tried, it results in tyranny and death. Nazi Germany, Communist Russia, Communist China, Communist Cambodia, Communist Laos, Communist Cuba, Communist Venezuela. Every single place it is tried, it ends up in tyranny and mass death. Now check out, because he continued his comments talking about where he sees the real problems with this. Check it out.
I think the city's in for a really tough time. We have a big office here ourselves, and I mean, we'll see how this works, but the team in New York is for the first time saying maybe we should leave.
And I asked him if he had contributed to the Cuomo campaign. He said no. I asked if he had spoken with Mamdani before the election. He also said no, but he said he does.
You're going to find a lot of Democrats did not contribute to the Cuomo campaign. A lot of people didn't, because Cuomo was an ultimately failed candidate. This is the same candidate riddled with sexual harassment, shenanigans, scenarios, controversies, corruption, as well as the fact that he's the one who essentially killed tens of thousands of elderly Americans by taking COVID patients and putting them back in nursing homes where they managed to infect everybody else. This is the same guy who then managed one apology on essentially election eve. So no, people weren't supporting Cuomo. He was an ultimately disgusting candidate. And then you've got Sliwa. Unfortunately, Sliwa was never going to be a serious candidate in New York. What the Republicans were doing nominating Sliwa, I have no idea. But even then, if you didn't want Mamdani, either the Republicans and Democrats should have gotten together after Mamdani won the Democrat election and gotten Cuomo out as an independent and put somebody else in, or figured something out. But the fact of the matter is they didn't care. They didn't care about the people of New York. They all care mainly about their own power. But let's go back to Barry.
Expect to see both people and businesses leave New York City.
New York will survive. It survived de Blasio, but it's a shame it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And that's coming from a business perspective. You know, I am a greater New York area person. It is an amazing city with a great vitality and great youth and energy, but the core issues are not what he's focusing on. We need to increase housing. That's not going to happen easily, right? You need serious subsidies from the government if they want.
It's not going to increase housing at all. He can't. He's going to put rent controls on already stabilized buildings. There is not a single real estate developer that's going to run to New York to say, let me build housing, knowing that it's going to be rent controlled. They can't make money. The number one thing, the thing that basically 100% of economists agree on, is that when you rent control, it crashes the commercial real estate market. It's a disaster every single time it's tried. But I guess we're going to do this again.
Want us to work with unions, the unions have to be more accommodative on their work laws and the wages and everything else. Otherwise, you can't add economically.
You can't. And Hochul's already said she's not going to let him tax everybody into oblivion. So the one group of people that you want to try to tax more inside New York City, because the only thing you can affect as mayor is New York City taxes, are the rich in New York City, and they're already up and leaving. And check this out, you've already got massive businesses. Sternlicht said that they're thinking about leaving, Starwood Capital. You've already got other businesses that are relocating headquarters. Here you've got Wagamama's has already announced within hours of the election, Wagamama is moving its headquarters to where? Oh, lo and behold, Tampa, good old Florida, the two biggest states that are going to be the beneficiary of this New York meltdown are going to be Texas and Florida. For New York, it's probably going to be more Florida than Texas, but they're both probably going to benefit. You've got financial services firms now. I believe I saw it in the comments talking about Texas as the new Wall Street. Why? Because now that everything's computerized, you don't need the actual physical stock exchange nearly as much. The trades, everything that took place in the pits, in the New York Stock Exchange for decades is all electronic now. It's all computerized. There are more financial services jobs when you look them up in Texas than there are in New York City because firms are relocating to Texas in droves. There's no state income tax. The overall tax burden is much lower. The real estate cost is much less. So you've got companies that are already leaving New York, and now on the basically immediately after the election, you got Wagamama, we're out. Our headquarters is moving to Tampa, we're done. Now, and also I want to check in. So here's Laura Ingraham talking about this very fact and talking about that I think Florida is getting ready for a major real estate boom. Mamdani is probably the best thing that happened to Florida real estate in the last 5 years. Here we go.
Some New Yorkers are thinking of packing up and getting out already. They call it the Mamdani migration. The New York Post is reporting that real estate agents are getting flooded with phone calls. Luxury real estate agent Ryan Serhant told the Post that his number one job will be moving people from New York to Florida again. And based on the results, clients are going to hold off on making any kind of investment in New York City. Lydia Moynihan knows all about this. She's a financial correspondent at the Post and broke this story. Lydia, I had a bunch of my friends over the weekend when they saw this coming saying, oh my goodness, I wish I sold last year. This is a nightmare. How could this be happening? So is this Mamdani migration a real thing?
I think it is, and I hate to say that. Look, what's not surprising is it in the wake of him clinching that Democratic nomination that wealthy people, really anyone with sort of a vested interest in the city, was exploring options of where they could move. Florida, of course, is a well-trodden path at this point. But what's much more concerning is the fact that people are actually walking away from deals. So people who were either in process of signing and purchasing an apartment or, potentially buying something in the future, they're walking away. And so for the next 4 months, I think we're going to see a decrease in the investment in New York City. Anyone with a business is going to be a little hesitant. And of course, that's going to be amplified for 4 years if Mamdani is elected. And of course, Laura, the irony is that these are the very people who he needs to be paying for all of these programs. I mean, the things he's outlined sound like Doge cuts, right? Money, millions of dollars to transgender surgeries for minors. And there's really no way that he can do that if, as I think people will, they're going to pack up and leave.
I think a lot of people are going to pack up and leave. I think you're going to see a major exodus of those with means, because your average union worker, your school teacher, they can't pick up and leave New York City. They can't pick up and leave New York State. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't have a job waiting for them in Florida. They don't have a mobile job. But the people with means, the people with serious money, the people who run companies who can relocate their entire company, or the people who have mobile jobs are going to be out of New York. If even just to New Jersey or Connecticut or simply out of the city. But you're not going to be able to maintain the level of free stuff that he wants. This was all a sham. He knew he could never deliver on any of the promises. Hence, his first little video, please send me money. I'm on the grift. I'm on the take again. Now, but the thing that the Republicans have to be very wary of and very careful of is that Mamdani ran as a populist. Now, Populism, just to give everybody a little bit of an education lesson here, populism essentially at its core is the reorienting of the conflict in society from left versus right to top versus bottom, or up down, from horizontal to vertical. So populism basically becomes the us versus them isn't Republicans versus Democrats or left versus right or, gay versus straight or LGBTQ versus this or black versus white. No, it reorients it into the haves and the have-nots, to put it very, very basically. However, populism does not necessarily define your politics. It doesn't define your policy. It doesn't define your right-left move. And so you can have ultra-far left populism, where you, as like Mamdani, where you basically make the enemies, capitalism itself, the economic system itself, and in Mamdani's case, sprinkle in a little TDS, a little Trump derangement. But so his enemies are Trump and capitalism. Whereas when Trump, the populist revolution that Trump ushered in November was anti-government, anti-woke, anti-all that nonsense. Well, you've got two competing forms of populism right now. And here's the problem. First of all, Mamdani will fail because his socialist revolution will never work. But they'll blame it on something else. They'll blame it on the tax base. They'll blame it on the billionaires. They'll blame it. They won't blame the policies itself. It'll be something else. But meantime, you've got Trump, who I believe is far too concerned with foreign policy. He has pivoted a lot towards foreign policy. He needs to get back to domestic policy. He needs to get back to getting his domestic agenda passed, getting the economy booming. Now, I realize that his foreign tours have helped bring in promises of a lot of foreign capital, and that's great. And he's done great in foreign policy, but he really needs now, and the Republicans need to focus on it's the economy, stupid, because you've got a competing form of populism, and you cannot let that fester. You've got to basically get ready for the midterms, because if the Democrats can win the House, the Trump agenda comes to an end, which is why I would not be against nuking the filibuster. However, only do it if you've got already in the bag all the Republican votes you need to pass the entire agenda all the way to the wall. Complete voter ID, complete end to all any benefits for illegal aliens, whether federal or state, making illegal immigration a felony, getting a new census and demanding it and getting that census done and in place and the results factored to the 2028 presidential election. So you reorient all the electoral votes. If you do that, you can make it so that Democrats will not win another election for 20 or 30 years. Then it won't matter that you nuke the filibuster. But that's the only way you can do it. Because with Mamdani running as a populist, he is a left populist. And we need to get back to the anti-woke, because he is fully woke, and he represents the unholy alliance between the far left woke radicals, the LGBTQ crowd, and the far left tyrannical Islamist communist wing of the Democrat Party. Let me know what you think in the comments. I really appreciate everybody rolling up.